Joe Biden, as president of the United States, is very well protected, all right? Everywhere he goes, he's got Secret Service agents around him, and that's a good thing. We want that. Presidents have been targeted before, and we want him to be safe. But I also want members of Congress to be safe as well, and they don't have Secret Service protection. The overwhelming majority do not have any kind of protection. Matt Gaetz, Congressman Matt Gaetz, Republican of Florida, was credibly threatened by some lunatic on the West Coast who drove all the way to Washington, D.C., he reports, to kill him. And nobody really batted an eye. I just kind of wrote that one off. No big deal. Matt's fine. We don't have to arrest this guy. What's going on here? This is a problem, and like so many real problems, just being blown off by the D.C. establishment, especially Joe. You've seen these senators like Kyrsten Sinema, followed into the bathroom. Ha, 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 ha. Everybody kind of thought that was amusing. On the plane, she's being hassled by these activists. I don't think this is right. It only takes one nut job to take it one step further. It's happened before, not too long ago. Who remembers Gabby Giffords, right? The congresswoman from Arizona. She was shot in the head by some lunatic. And for a brief time after that, they thought about, oh, we should have more security, and then that all went away. Gabby Giffords still carrying the scars.
I'm getting better. Slowly, but I'm getting stronger.
And good for her. Good for her. But there has been no real movement to secure our lawmakers. And maybe this is not a popular issue to take, but I don't want to see this happen again. I also don't want to see something like that ball game practice. Steve Scalise and others were shot, seriously wounded. Do you remember this? This is not very long ago. And I think this has to be addressed right away. The media keeps saying, and they keep reinforcing how negative our culture is. Wouldn't it be nice if they did something proactively ahead of time instead of after the fact like they so often do? Joe Biden, though, he's not kind of cut from that cloth, okay? He's more of a reactive type. And all this stuff, all this toxicity, part of the job.
I don't think they're appropriate tactics, but it happens to everybody. From the only people it doesn't happen to are people who have Secret Service standing around them. It's part of the process.
Part of the process, but people have been known to get shot in the head, shot in the liver. It's happened, and it could happen again. And the D.C. establishment is afraid, not necessarily of lunatics, but people who go to school board meetings. You know about this. They're afraid of these great women who go to school board meetings and make fantastic points and seem to be on the verge of defeating this ridiculous critical race theory.
I don't know about you, but telling my child or any child that they are in a permanent oppressed status in America because they are black is racist. And saying that white people are automatically above me, my children, or any child is racist as well.
School board, I quit. I quit your policies, I quit your trainings, and I quit being a cog in a machine that tells me to push highly politicized agendas on our most vulnerable constituents, the children.
I believe that CRT is the new Jim Crow. This is the new form of segregation, and my family will not stand for it.
You're emotionally abusing our children and mentally abusing them. You're demoralizing them by teaching them communist values. This is still America, ma'am.
I love it. I love listening to them. But the left, they get very uncomfortable when people like that start winning arguments. So they make fun of them. They make fun of us. Oh, just a bunch of deplorables, right? And they're threatening the school board. This is becoming quite dangerous. And yes, the Attorney General of the United States notified the FBI, Merrick Garland, that disgraceful letter he put out about 2 weeks ago. He was on the hot seat today. He had to defend this nonsense. Do you remember? Put out a letter notifying the FBI that these things are getting out of hand and the FBI needs to be brought in. The department takes these incidents seriously and is committed to using its authority and resources to discourage these threats, identify them when they occur, and prosecute them when appropriate. Now, this is kind of a chilling thing. The AG telling the FBI that we have a problem at school board meetings. So far, they've gotten a little bit heated, and when there is somebody who gets out of line, the cops are there, just in case. They arrested some guy who, by the way, actually in this footage, I'm not sure if he did anything wrong, but the cops are there and they can handle it. They don't need the FBI. So Merrick Garland was on Capitol Hill, and some of our favorites were there to find out what is going on. Here's Jim Jordan, Republican of Ohio.
Said there's no way you're going to be treating parents as domestic terrorists, but you got the National Security Division in a press release regarding your memo that day.
My memo does not mention the National Security Divisions. It's addressed to...
I didn't say it did. I said the press release accompanying your memo that day from the Department of Justice, right here it is,
I'm going to be as clear
talks about
as
the
I
National
can be.
Security
This
Division
is
being
not-
part of this effort.
I want to be clear as I can be. This is not about what happens inside school board meetings. It's only about threats of violence.
First sentence of your
Respect
memo,
the
very first sentence, you said, in recent months, there's been a disturbing spike in harassment, intimidation, threats of violence.
Yes.
When did you first review the data showing this so-called disturbing uptick?
So I read the letter, and we have been seeing over time threats.
Whoa. I didn't ask you. So you read the letter, that's your source?
So let me be clear. This is not a prosecution or an
Is there some
investigation.
study, some effort, some investigation someone did that said there's been a disturbing uptick, or you just take the words of the National School Board Association?
When the National School Board Association, which represents thousands of school boards and school board members, says that there are these kind of threats, when we read in the newspapers reports of threats of violence, when that is in the context of threats of violence.
The source for this, for the very first line in your memo.
Time of the gentleman has expired.
Was the School Board Association letter.
Expired.
Nadler was always trying to shut things down. Jim Jordan was brilliant. The Attorney General was very weak. And yes, national security notified in the press release. This is an official government press release about the letter. And take a look at this portion. They say there will be a creation of a task force consisting of representatives from the department's National Security Division. This is about those moms at those school board meetings, a national security level event? I don't think so. But back to Merrick Garland, he has a conflict of interest in this big time. So I hate to make this personal, but that's his daughter. Looks like she's very nice. She married some guy. He seems to be a decent fellow, I'm sure. Here's the wedding announcement in the New York Times. He has a job at a place called Panorama, and it's a major provider of educational materials, woke educational materials, that talks about things like this: systemic, social, emotional learning. What's that all about? Well, a little bit further inside the website, it says this: International Emotional Learning Day is a perfect opportunity to tell your policymakers that committing to dismantling of systems of oppression and advancing equity-centered selective emotional learning is important to you. Systems of oppression. America. This is what they're about. And, another hero on Capitol Hill, Congressman Mike Johnson, who will be joining us in just a little bit, Republican of Louisiana, and he did this very respectfully, but hey, there are regulations about this kind of thing. There may be a major conflict of interest. Did you check it out, Mr. Attorney General?
Did you have the appropriate agency ethic official look into this? Did you seek guidance as the federal regulation requires?
This memorandum is aimed at violence and threats of violence.
I understand that, but
no
did you seek ethics counsel before you issued a letter that directly relates to the financial interest of your family? Yes or no?
This memorandum does not relate to the financial interests of anyone. It's against.
I take that as a no.
Memorandum is against violence and threats of violence.
Will you, Mr. Attorney General, will you commit to having the appropriate ethics designee review the case and make the results public?
This memorandum is aimed at violence and threats of violence.
I understand your talking point. You're not answering my question, Mr. Attorney General. With all due respect, will you submit to an ethics review of this matter, yes or no?
There's no company in America, or hopefully no law-abiding citizen in America, who believes that threats of violence should not be prevented. There are no conflicts of interest that anyone could have.
According to you, but sir, with due respect, that's the purpose of the federal regulation. We need objective third parties to review our activities. You don't get to make that decision yourself. It doesn't matter. You're the chief law enforcement of this country. This raises questions in the minds of millions of Americans.
Awesome.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.